Hi guys, my name is Aoife Doyle and I'm Miss Curran's eldest daughter. I'm a research engineer. I work in UCD and my research is based around 3D printing or additive manufacturing. That's another name for 3D printing. So there are loads of different types of additive manufacturing or 3D printing. One type that works on plastics or polymers is fused deposition modeling or FDM. So here we see a printer, it's an FDM printer, and what happens in FDM, as I said, fused deposition modeling, is that you start off with a polymer material, and you can see here I have my blue polymer and it's in filament form, so you can see that there's kind of thin lines of filament here, and I have this on a spool. So what happens next is the filament from the spool is fed in through this tube, so the filament goes all the way through this Bowden tube and into the nozzle. So here, this nozzle is very, very hot. It's about 200 degrees Celsius, so water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. This is 200 degrees Celsius. And even though it's a solid on the spool, when it gets in here, it's so hot that it gets melted and it comes out as sort of a gooey, liquidy substance. And then once it reaches this bill plate, we call this the bill plate, it solidifies. And I have programmed a shape that I want this printer to build. It can be any shape. You can see here previously I've made this part that's shaped as a dog. I've made Pikachu. I've shaped as a Pikachu. So if I want to make a shape, I have this programmed on my computer, what I want to do, and I tell the machine that that's the shape I want to make. So right now I'm going to start off a print. I'm going to go print from the SD card, and I'm going to click this file for it to print. So you can see here that this nozzle is going to move around the axis on the bill plate, and it's going to deposit that gooey substance in the shape that I want, and then it hardens and solidifies into a solid part. So we'll just see how that starts off now. It's going to do it layer by layer, and
How long does it take?
It depends on the shape you want to make. Something small might take 2 or 3 hours. If I wanted to make something big, it might take a day. So anywhere from an hour to multiple days, really. So it builds this on a layer by layer basis. We see the bottom layer. It's going to be built now in a minute. You can see that gooey substance coming out and then solidifying on top of the build plate. And we've chosen blue for this shape, but I also have white filament here. I could have made it in white instead if I had wanted to. Okay, so this is going to take a little while, but we'll pause the video and show it to you when it's a little bit more built up, and you'll see the shape starting to emerge.
Okay, we've decided to start building a dice so we can play games. So the 3D printer is just starting with the dice right now. Okay, now you can see the dice is about a third. Maybe halfway up. Okay, building slowly in layers. Okay, and here is the finished product. Here's the dice. Isn't that just cool? And that took 1 hour.